I think the number one song was the sounds of cavemen scraping sticks on walls. This is exclusive to all of our Patreons. If you're seeing this, you're not a Patreon, log off. I don't know how you got this link.
You're a Patreon from the House of Patreon.
We are here in YouTube Studios.
Yes, YouTube.
And we're going to be doing answering some of your questions.
Talk about season 11. Also, the story of you and Cracker, how you guys met, and everything.
We've had this discussion a million bajillion times.
I like the and everything.
Yeah, and on top of that, discuss literally
everything, which is what I own, by the way.
What does Whitney Houston say? I don't want to ask too much, just all that you are and everything that you do.
Everything that you do. I love that
all
one.
That you are. And
I'll never ask too much, just all that you are.
And
everything that you do.
Season 11 is shaping up to be more exciting as the season goes on.
That's what I always tell people, though. And the thing is, people are like, oh, this is boring, like episode 1. It's like, yeah, because you don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
As time goes by, you will know them and you will care. I am Team Vanjie because that is my season 10 sister. And also because, you know, a lot of people get opportunities in this world and waste them. And Vanjie got an opportunity to be visible and used it so hard. She's out there. Like, she didn't let herself get down for being, like, kicked off where she used it. I think that is the model of a fucking drag queen.
And I'm Team Evie.
You're Team Evie? Yeah. Oddly? Yeah, same.
Oddly, that's true. I think she's going to do a good job, and I think Untucked is better than Drag Race.
Well, yeah. You're only getting none of the story. Yeah.
My favorite scene from Untucked so far was Raja going off on Plastique about how much love she's receiving, and then she turns to Chicane and goes, and then just turns back. That moment.
That's like the Monique Hart, like, not to cut you off, but to cut you off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Do you have a must-do for someone visiting NYC / what's your favorite thing about it?
Must not stand in the doorway when you get on the train. Like, get on the train and don't just stand there.
Yeah.
Move, motherfucker, to the side. Also, honestly, go do all the touristy stuff. Do all of it. If you've never been, do the touristy stuff. Go to the Statue of Liberty, go to the Empire State Building, go see a Shaquita show. Things that have been in New York City for hundreds of years. Do all
it.
Those.
Yeah. Well, I think that the thing you absolutely have to do, and people don't know this, is you go to the top of the rock and not the Empire State Building. Because when you get to the top of the Empire State Building, you cannot see the Empire State Building. And that is the whole point of the New York skyline.
Oh, yeah, because you're on it.
Yeah, you're on it. So you go to the top of the rock, which nobody wants to go to the top of. You can see Central Park, the whole thing, that way, and then the skyline with the Empire State Building. Take that picture, it goes on your Instagram, and people feel that are in your life like they're less than you, which is the point of Instagram.
It would be cool if you guys talked about doing stand-up.
Yeah, I started doing stand-up at the New York Comedy Club, and then I started doing stand-up at my gigs. Like, I would just do stand-up during my shows, which I feel like girls in the city nowadays aren't doing stand-up so much anymore.
Right. Yeah, because it's just like number,
Yeah,
which is
right.
kind of the new format. I started doing stand-up when my track wouldn't play at Roxy Brooks' gig. And I was supposed to be up there. It was at the old Boots and Saddle, like the
old one.
Old the house down Boots and Saddle. That smelled like a gym shoe.
It smelled like a boot and a saddle.
Yeah. You could be passed out drunk under the bar and not be thrown out, which is, I think, something we're losing in this city.
If you could change the ending of any movie, which one and what would the new ending be?
I'm going to do the Titanic. Instead of snapping in half, it just dunks down, comes back up as a submarine, goes all the way down, and they live underground as mole people.
I would go back to fucking 6 feet under. Spoiler alert. I'll wait for you.
Oh, wait. No, don't spoil it.
Okay. I would change it. Everyone knows. I would not watch the last episode. I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
I would not watch the last episode of 6 Feet Under because then I wouldn't have to like take days off of work recovering. It's called, it's a Caucasian recovery period. You're allowed to take time off after 6 Feet Under.
What are your sweetest fan/stan experiences? I guess the weird ones would be fun to hear about too, though. Ha!
A fan was like, hey, I just love you so much at a group meet and greet, and I got you a gift. She gives me this envelope that is packed, just brimming. So I go to my room and I open it up, and what do you think is in it?
Pillow.
Babies. It is full of tiny little babies.
Dolls. Thank you for clearing that up.
Not semen. They've all been run through with a hot poker, so that there's a burned hole straight through, and then blood is painted on. And it is literally hundreds of them. And I open the envelope, they spill out all over the table. And I was like, this is the night that I die.
My favorite moment ever was on the season 8 tour. A girl came up to me and she goes, I know you don't drink and I know you don't want to give, but can I buy you a slice of pizza? And I was like, yes. And I left the meet and greet.
Yeah.
And I ate pizza.
What's the tea about Monet never saying Honey Davenport is her drag mother? Love you guys!
I think Monet will double down on anything if you tell her to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
If you tell her to do it, she'll be like, now I certainly can't do
Hey,
it.
Katie Wiggs.
And by the way, Monet does acknowledge that Honey Davenport is her drag mom.
I Googled this, and I found one search result in which Monet, they were like, isn't Honey Davenport your mom? And she was like, yes. But I think in America today...
Who do you think is going to win this season of RuPaul Drag Race show?
Evie Oddly.
Evie Oddly.
All right, next.
Favorite Broadway musical?
My favorite Broadway musical is Once on This Island.
Maybe you haven't seen this yet because you're so fucking contrary. But the best musical on Broadway is fucking Hamilton.
Oh, and I only haven't seen it because it's so hard to get tickets.
It's so.
And I just
I
don't
feel
wanna-
like
I don't
you
wanna
know
fight to get
someone
tickets.
on that cast.
Probably.
Just tweet at them and take me because Nina West takes her daughter to all kinds of things. You should take me to Hamilton.
I took you to Drag Race.
Yeah. Wow. By the way, you showed up while I was there. That is not the same as taking me, bitch.
What were the circumstances / reasons that led Bob the drag queen, such a strong and proud black queen, to adopt someone into their drag family that ended up naming themselves Miss Cracker? And what is it that makes your relationship so strong? Love you both.
I adopted Miss Cracker. Her name was Brianna Cracker at the time.
Yeah.
Actually, no, her first drag name was problematic.
Don't say that. Don't say that out
And it
loud.
will not be named.
Yeah.
And then she became Brianna Cracker. She found out there was already a Brianna Cracker, and she just shortened it to Miss Cracker.
Yeah. And I think it works because you and I like to make fun
Oh, yeah.
of racial issues. And
Oh, yeah.
so that wasn't the intent of my name, but when you look at me, you think there is a white woman. That's a white person, especially when I'm dancing.
I say
so,
white.
Yeah, it's like taking the elephant out of the room, or the eureka out of the room, if you will.
If y'all had to imitate the other's show for a night, routine / material, look, etc., what would you do, and do you think you could nail it?
I imagine I would just do what Cracker does. I would get a big blonde wig. I would chop off my shins. I would yell, "Wah-wah-wah!"
Just the Toulouse-Lautrec drag. That's me. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like 9/10 of Bob's show is just the fact that she's so fucking big. So I don't know if I can nail it. You know what I mean? Like, just
I mean,
be the same.
I will say you wouldn't do well in the show Suspiciously Large Woman.
Right. Oh, absolutely not. I would have to Ivy Winters my way onto the stage. It's like, goo, 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 goo.
Please talk about an all-winner season. I want to hear your opinions on that.
You've talked about this before.
Yeah, I would do an all-winter season, and I feel like I would win. Otherwise, I wouldn't go.
Right. What do you think? What do you think gives you the edge?
What gives me the edge over these other girls?
Yeah.
Well, you guys don't realize this. Once you've been on Drag Race, when you go back and watch it again, you're still playing it in your head. You're like, I would have.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I would have.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have won all the challenges in my head.
You're like, oh, I would have killed this one. I remember asking Bob, I was like, if I'm ever on Drag Race, like, what are some just nitty-gritty things, like some tips that I should know? And Bob was like, well, I went in and I was like, I'm going to win every day, and then I did. I was like, thank you. Thank you, Bob. Hold on, let me get a pen. And then I did.
If you're all going to DragCon, if not all, then those who are, what would the ideal meet and greet standards you'd like to make things easier and smoother for you? Want to make sure I don't fuck it up with my shy, awkward ass. Haha.
Just...
I mean, just be your fine. I mean,
Yeah.
Just remember that I don't hug at DragCon because I get sick every time DragCon I've hugged people, I get sick. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean like a little I mean, bear in mind, you're hugging someone who's hugging everyone, who's hugging everyone, who's
Yeah.
hugging everyone.
Right.
And then you end up
It's
getting-
essentially like Hell's Kitchen all over again.
Yeah.
Just
So if a queen doesn't want to hug you, just bear in mind that it literally has nothing to do with you. I decided I want to hug you before I met you.
For me, the thing is, when it is your time, it's your time. You paid to be here, or you waited to be here. Come to me. When the hardest thing for me is when people are like, I'm like, come on, we are trying to do this here.
Get over here, yeah.
Get it, yeah. So, yeah, just be bold.
Pick out for each other the #1 song on the Billboard chart, any genre, on the day you were born.
When I was born, the song was Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald, All by Myself.
I don't know what the fuck was going on.
Can someone please Google Crackers #1 song?
Yeah, #1 song on my fucking birthday. What was it? Yeah. I'm like, come on, let's do it. April 19th, 1984.
Yeah, Billboard didn't even exist back then. I think the #1
fuck.
song was the sounds of cavemen scraping sticks on walls.
What are your views on education reform?
I'm sorry.
What education reform. Well, one thing that I will say is that as Drag Race showed of me, not all people perform well when being tested. So I think that we should weight students' achievement more on how they do every day than how they do when they are in a closed room taking a test for 6 hours. You know what I mean?
I am not an education specialist, but I will say people learn different ways.
Yeah.
Some people need to learn hands-on. I do think that our public schools in larger cities could cater the learning system to be more specific to each student.
Yeah.
However, the issue is there are just so many of them, they can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
So I get it. We need smaller classes.
Yeah.
And bigger itineraries. But that's hard to do when you are in a New York City school and there's 3 high schools in one building. It also shows that a study has been shown that obviously there's no race that can do better than another race. It's just people with certain opportunities do better than people with other opportunities.
Yeah, except Jews are better at complaining, which is what I'm doing right now.
Explain drag families, who is related to who, how you met, and how your relationship is now.
Whoever's your drag mom is the person you asked to be your drag mom. And she's your drag mom to the
And
day
she's
you
like,
die.
yes.
Yeah.
She has to say yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you are DMing me and you're like, you're my drag mom, not yet. Not until I accept the DM.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What do you think about the nature of shade between drag queens? I feel like non-drag performers, including myself, have a difficult time knowing when something is innocent shade or when there is real drama and bitterness. Would love your insight.
I think there's always a little drama in all shade, and
that's part of the thrill.
Yeah, that's part of the thrill.
Yeah.
That's the Samson thrill of it all.
Yeah.
I think that there's a little bit of truth in shade, and when it's between friends, you'll know it.
Yeah.
Also, tone is hard to infer on Twitter.
Oh, in written period.
Yeah.
But I think the most important part of roasting between each other for queens, and people don't know this, is that you honestly have to have a genuine dislike for each other on some level in order to really roast someone well. And I think we have that.
Have you all seen Drag Race Thailand? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that show and how it compares to US RPDR, Art Aria, and Pangina Heels as the host and co-host, the unique cultural perspectives behind setting up the challenges, the queens themselves, etc.
I saw a little bit of the first season of Drag Race Thailand, and I had to watch it so many times because it's visual. So I'm reading and looking and reading and looking, and then go back and read it and look at it again. We watched it back in Berkeley, and they're great. They're fucking killing it. They did 3-in-1 looks. Drag Race US did 2-in-1. They're like, oh, we'll do 3-in-1. I was like, all right.
They work so hard.
Yeah.
I could never.
And Pan used to come to my shows.
Yeah. She's a sweetheart.
She's so sweet.
She's a real sweetheart lady.
You guys were pretty vocal about production companies treating drag queens like they're disposable after the whole haters roast debacle when Monet went to film a video with Madonna. What can you tell us about the services they provide, how easy it would be for drag queens to replace those companies, and what can drag queens do to empower each other to avoid being exploited by them?
I think that for drag queens to replace a production company would be hard, not impossible, just very, very hard First of all, you need the capital. If you want to do a theater tour of 30 theaters, you need to put down 30 deposits. That can be over $100,000.
Jesus Christ.
So then
At
you have to
least.
get all the queens together to get that money,
Yeah.
pull it in, and then also the buses, the planes, the trains, the yickities and the yakkities. Is it impossible? No, of course not. Is it hard? Yeah, of course it is long.
Night. Well, this is what I think when I hear that question. The question is like, what are we going to do about all these big production tours and production companies that we're like interacting with every day? Not just like Bob and me, but fans as well. But like for me, it's like, as a drag queen, I wake up every morning and I think about what my values are, where my lines are, what I will and won't do, and what I think drag should be. And I just sort of, whenever I'm part of any tour or going to do any gig, I just run over that checklist and make sure that I'm being true to myself. And I think that if we all do that, we can kind of prevent like a slow drift of shitty things happening to queens. Like you accept one little thing at a time, and it's a slippery slope.
Thank you all for joining us. That was for you, Patreon. This quality content was literally
Absolutely.
just for you.
It's all for you.